SITREP World Briefing for July 13, 2026. The United States and Iran traded fresh military strikes on July 13th in a widening confrontation across the Middle East, with the latest exchange unfolding only hours after new U.S. attacks on Iranian targets. Iran said it responded by striking U.S. military bases in Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain, extending the immediate danger zone well beyond Iranian territory and toward the Gulf shipping corridor around the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy choke points. Bases in Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain matter because they anchor U.S. air, naval, and logistics networks across the Gulf and Eastern Mediterranean, while any fighting near the Strait of Hormuz raises immediate concerns for commercial tankers, insurance costs, and global oil flows that move through the narrow waterway every day. The fighting also put diplomacy under strain by narrowing the space for any immediate de-escalation between Washington and Tehran. With both sides now demonstrating a willingness to hit military targets across several countries in a matter of hours, regional governments face the prospect of further strikes, disruptions to shipping lanes, and pressure to secure civilian infrastructure, ports, and airspace if the current cycle of retaliation intensifies again. A wildfire in Almería province, Spain, killed at least 13 people, while emergency crews continued to search for the missing and assess damage in communities hit by the blaze. The fire, which tore through southern Spain and forced residents to flee, was reported to have stabilized enough for some evacuees to begin returning, while authorities kept firefighting operations in place around burned areas and damaged villages. Firefighters gained ground after days of battling the blaze, and the easing conditions allowed hundreds of evacuees to go back to their homes in parts of Almería province. The return of residents showed that containment lines were beginning to hold, but the scale of the disaster remained severe. Entire communities had been emptied, transport was disrupted, and authorities still faced the work of confirming casualties, tracing missing people, and securing properties damaged by fire and smoke. The Almería fire has become one of Spain's deadliest recent wildfires, highlighting the danger that fast-moving summer blazes pose in dry, mountainous terrain along the Mediterranean coast. In that landscape, strong winds, scattered settlements, and narrow access roads can quickly complicate evacuations and rescue work, which is why even a fire described as stabilizing can remain lethal for residents, returning families, and emergency crews operating over a wide burn zone. Ukraine launched drone strikes into Russia on July 13th, with some of the reported impacts occurring in the Moscow region. Local authorities in the region said the attacks caused civilian casualties, and the reported toll later rose to 4 people killed and 7 wounded in Russia, most of them in the Moscow region. The strikes formed part of Kyiv's effort to intensify pressure inside Russia in response to repeated Kremlin barrages against Ukrainian cities and infrastructure. Ukraine has expanded its long-range drone campaign over the past year to target Russian energy, military, and logistics assets, seeking to complicate Russian operations. The July 13th strike coincided with a meeting in Paris of the so-called Coalition of the Willing, where Ukraine's backers were discussing how to sustain support as the war continues. The United Kingdom began human trials of a new Ebola vaccine on July 13th after the UK medicines regulator approved the experimental shot for testing in healthy adults. The vaccine was made in the UK and moved from development to trial readiness in just 8 weeks, marking an unusually rapid timeline for an early-stage infectious disease program. The start of the study places the United Kingdom at the center of an effort to speed up responses to deadly viral outbreaks that can spread quickly once cases cross borders. Ebola remains one of the world's most feared hemorrhagic fevers because outbreaks can carry high fatality rates and place immediate pressure on fragile health systems in parts of Africa where the virus has appeared before. The regulator's decision and the launch of a trial in the United Kingdom are significant not only for this candidate vaccine, but also for the broader public health goal of compressing the time between identifying a threat and testing a countermeasure in people. By moving into trials after just 8 weeks of development, British researchers are also testing whether a faster model for vaccine design can be deployed when future emergencies emerge. Early human trials are designed to answer basic questions about safety and immune response before any wider use can be considered, so the study's enrollment of healthy adults is a standard but important first step. For the United Kingdom, the Ebola project also serves as a demonstration of domestic research capacity, regulatory coordination, and outbreak preparedness. If the candidate performs well, the program could help shape how governments and laboratories organize faster vaccine development for pathogens that do not circulate widely every year, but can still trigger severe international health alerts when they reappear. Sources and the full written briefing are available at sitrepbrief.com.